This dog wouldn't leave her blanket no matter what, and the reason why might just bring tears to your eyes. New Year's Eve wasn't full of celebration for Camila, the sweet pit bull terrier mix. She didn't know it yet, but her whole world was about to change. Her family, the only one she'd ever known, was packing up to move to a new place. As they loaded boxes and tossed out what they didn't want anymore, they made one heartbreaking decision. They left Camila behind like she was just another thing they didn't need. That day, Camila had no clue anything was wrong. She watched them come and go, her tail wagging as she followed them around. But when the car finally pulled away, she didn't understand. She waited, thinking they'd be back soon. They weren't. All she had left was her blanket, the one that still smelled like them. With the door locked behind her, Camila curled up near the house, right there on the roadside, and waited. Hours turned into days. She stayed close to the blanket, never giving up hope, sure her family would return any moment. But they didn't. They never would. Camila didn't stay alone for long. One day, Marina Tereshevska, co-founder of Dallas Dog RRR and a true animal lover, was walking through the neighborhood. She noticed Camila lying quietly on the blanket, but didn't think much of it at first. Then the sky opened up and rain started to fall. Marina ran for cover, trying to stay dry. After the storm passed, she headed home along the same route, and that's when she saw it. There was Camila, still in the exact same spot, soaked from the rain, shaking from the cold. The sight stopped Marina in her tracks. How could a dog just sit there, out in the storm, without even trying to find shelter? Something wasn't right. Marina couldn't ignore the gnawing feeling in her chest. She started asking neighbors about the dog. Their answer hit her hard. Camila had been abandoned. No food, no water, no home. Just that blanket. Marina looked at Camila, her heart aching. This dog hadn't left the one thing that still connected her to the family she loved. That loyalty. It broke Marina's heart and inspired her all at once. Even though she'd been tossed aside like trash, this dog still waited, holding on to the hope that her family would return. She had no idea they were never coming back. Watching that kind of loyalty go unnoticed broke something in Marina's heart. In that moment, she made a quiet promise to herself. She wouldn't let Camila suffer alone anymore. Marina was no stranger to helping animals, but she knew this wouldn't be easy. Camila's devotion to her old family ran deep. Gaining her trust wasn't going to happen overnight. Even after everything, the dog still believed her people might come back for her. That kind of hope didn't fade easily. Still, Marina was determined to try. As she wiped her tears she hadn't even realized had fallen, she felt a mix of heartbreak and resolve. This gentle, loyal dog had been left like she didn't matter. Marina couldn't let that be the end of her story. She started trying to get closer, but every time Marina approached, Camila would bolt, afraid and unsure. The poor dog had only known one family, and strangers terrified her now. Marina didn't give up. She tried offering food, knowing Camila had to be hungry after days with nothing. But Camila wouldn't budge, not even for food. Her loyalty was so strong, she couldn't accept kindness from anyone else. Marina could feel how hard this was going to be. She knew she couldn't force it. Any pressure would only make Camila more scared, and she didn't want to hurt her more than she already had been. She had to find another way. And then Marina noticed something. Every time Camila ran from her, she'd circle back to that same old blanket. It was her safe place, the one thing she still trusted. That gave Marina an idea. Slowly, she began to move the blanket, just a little at a time, toward her apartment. Every time, Camila would follow it, always drawn back to the scent and comfort it held. It took nearly an hour, inch by inch, but it worked. Camila, guided by the blanket, ended up right at Marina's door. With a small, tired smile, Marina opened it and let her in. She finally had Camila safe inside. Now came the real work, helping this quiet, heartbroken dog start to feel safe again. Inside Marina's apartment, Camila still looked so sad. She was out of the cold, but the hurt was still with her. Camila barely moved. She didn't wag her tail or lift her head, and she avoided eye contact completely. When Marina tried to gently pet her, Camila would flinch and back away, clearly still scared. Even though she was safe now, something in her couldn't let go of the fear and sadness. Still, she wouldn't leave the apartment. She stayed curled up close to the same old blanket, now in Marina's home, holding on to it like it was the only thing she had left. Marina, determined to help her heal, prepared a special meal. But Camila wouldn't eat while she was in the room. Only after Marina quietly stepped out would she take a few careful bites. Even with that small setback, Marina didn't give up. She stayed nearby, giving Camila quiet company, letting her know she wasn't alone anymore. While gently trying to comfort her again, Marina noticed something that made her heart drop. As she ran her hand carefully down Camila's neck, she felt something wrong. An injury. It was deep and looked painful. Marina stared at it, stunned, wondering how this poor dog had ended up hurt like that. It looked serious, bad enough to need urgent care. Marina felt a wave of worry, mixed with relief that she'd spotted it when she did. If it had gone unnoticed, it might have turned into something life-threatening. As the day ended, Marina knew what she had to do. She made plans to take Camila to the vet first thing in the morning. She also knew this was just the start of what would be a long road to recovery, but she was ready to walk it with her. The next day, she brought Camila to the veterinary clinic. The vets were deeply moved by what they saw, this quiet dog with such a heartbreaking story. After examining her, they offered two possible explanations. Maybe Camila had been in a fight while scavenging for food. Or worse, maybe she'd spent most of her life chained outside, and the collar had cut into her skin over time. Either way, the news wasn't good. The injury was worse than Marina expected. Surgery was the only way to help her. Marina's heart felt heavy, but she didn't hesitate. She told the vets to go ahead. The veterinary team worked carefully, removing damaged tissue and any embedded debris, and doing their best to stop the infection from spreading. Marina waited through it all, refusing to leave Camila's side. Finally, the surgery was over, and Camila was resting. Marina exhaled for what felt like the first time in hours. She stayed close while the dog recovered, offering quiet encouragement and hope. Days later, the call came. Camila was ready to go home. As Marina brought her back, she felt something she hadn't in a while, a spark of happiness and hope. It was still a long journey ahead, but they were finally on the right path. Camila was slowly starting to trust again, bit by bit. But even with the small steps forward, Marina knew there was still a long way to go. The emotional wounds left behind weren't going to fade overnight. Still, Marina felt more hopeful than ever. She had a new goal now, to help Camila feel safe around people again, and one day find a foster home where she'd be truly loved. Before long, Marina brought Camila to a nearby animal shelter. She hoped being around other dogs and kind staff might help her open up more, and maybe, just maybe, find someone who'd want to adopt her. At first, Camila kept to herself. She barely interacted with the other dogs and stayed quiet most of the time. The staff noticed and started to worry. But they also saw something in her, a quiet spark, a glimpse of the dog she could become. So they gave her extra care. They got her into a gentle routine with walks, playtime, and slow introductions to other dogs. Bit by bit, it started to work. Camila began wagging her tail when it was time for walks. She joined in little games, and slowly she started to let the staff come closer, even leaning in for pets. Marina visited often, and each time she saw Camila's progress, her heart swelled with pride. Now Camila would even nudge Marina for affection. That one simple gesture meant the world to her. It showed how far the dog had come from the frightened pup she'd found on the roadside. But there was still one big step ahead. Finding Camila a foster home. A place where she could get the attention, love, and peace she truly deserved. Marina and the shelter staff were determined to find the right person, someone who'd see Camila not just for her past, but for her heart. To speed things up, Marina decided to share Camila's story online. She posted photos and videos capturing the dog's gentle spirit and how far she'd come. She wrote from the heart, explaining how Camila had been abandoned on New Year's Day and how loyal and strong she'd been through it all. The story spread quickly. People were touched, many heartbroken over how someone could leave behind such a devoted dog. And then something amazing happened. One evening, just as the staff at the shelter were getting ready to close, a vehicle pulled up unexpectedly. A man hurried out, apologizing over and over for being late. Traffic had held him up. The staff paused, surprised. Marina happened to be there too. The man explained that he had seen Camila's story online. Her story had stuck with him, and he couldn't stop thinking about her. He had to come meet her in person. His name was Johnson, and from the moment he spoke, it was clear. He wasn't just curious. He was serious about giving Camila a real chance. But Johnson's interest in Camila wasn't just because of her story. It ran much deeper. He shared that he used to have a pit bull terrier mix named Benny, who had recently passed away from natural causes. Benny wasn't just any dog. He'd been a huge part of the family, especially for Johnson's 6-year-old son, Carl. Carl had gone through something no kid should. After a serious accident, he'd been temporarily paralyzed and was still on the road to recovery. Through all of it, Benny had been his constant companion. That dog never left his side, offering comfort, warmth, and quiet strength during the toughest days. So when Benny passed, it left a hole in their hearts, especially Carl's. The little boy had been devastated. Johnson had tried everything to help him cope, but nothing seemed to lift the sadness. Then one day, Johnson came across Marina's post about Camila. She looked so much like Benny. Same breed, same gentle eyes. When he showed the post to Carl, something changed. Carl's eyes lit up for the first time in weeks. He smiled and begged his dad to meet her. He said she reminded him of Benny, and he just knew she could help him feel better again. As Johnson shared his story, Marina listened closely. Her heart swelled with emotion. This wasn't just a family looking for a pet. They were looking for healing, and Camila might be the missing piece. She smiled softly, realizing this could be the perfect match. Johnson told her that Carl was waiting in the car, so excited and hopeful. With quiet anticipation, Johnson watched as Camila was brought out to meet him. When she approached, his eyes filled with tears. She looked so much like Benny, it took his breath away. Camila, sensing his emotion, gently wagged her tail and nudged into him for pets. It was like she knew. Johnson crouched down, holding her face gently, whispering thanks with a trembling voice. Then came the moment everyone had been waiting for. Johnson led Camila over to the car. Carl sat in the back seat, watching eagerly. As soon as Camila got close, something beautiful happened. Carl reached out, and Camila jumped right into his lap, licking his face, tail wagging like crazy. Carl laughed and hugged her tight, his face glowing with pure joy. Even the shelter staff couldn't hold back tears. It was like watching two broken hearts find each other. Passers-by stopped, watching in awe as this beautiful bond formed right in front of them. In that instant, Carl and Camila became inseparable. She wasn't just a dog anymore, she was family. And for the first time in a long time, Carl had a real smile on his face. Johnson was overwhelmed. Watching his son light up like that, all because of Camila, it meant everything. She had already filled the space Benny had left, not by replacing him, but by bringing her own kind of love. With happy tears and heartfelt thanks, Johnson told Marina he was ready to take Camila home. She'd be cared for, loved deeply, and never feel abandoned again. Together, they filled out the final paperwork, emotions running high. Marina guided Johnson through each step, her heart full, knowing Camila's journey had brought her exactly where she belonged. They all stood quietly as Camila left with her new family, her tail wagging and eyes full of hope. Watching her go, Marina and the shelter staff felt a deep sense of joy. After everything she'd been through, Camila finally had what she deserved, a home, a family, and a future filled with love. Marina wiped away happy tears. She knew they'd done something special. They hadn't just saved a dog. They had helped her find happiness again. And in return, Camila was ready to give all the love she had to her new family. 3 months later, as Marina checked her phone, an email popped up from Johnson. Her heart skipped for a second. Was something wrong? But as she opened the message, her worry quickly turned into pure joy. The update was better than she ever could have imagined. Johnson shared that Camila and Carl had formed the most incredible bond. Just like Benny used to, Camila had started picking up on Carl's emotions. She could tell when he wasn't feeling well or needed comfort, and she was always there. But the biggest news left Marina speechless. Carl was walking. Thanks to Camila's playful nudges and constant encouragement, Carl had started trying harder to get up and move. Week by week, he went from using a wheelchair to crutches and eventually to walking on his own. He still stumbled now and then, but he could walk, really walk. Attached to the email were sweet photos of Camila curled up next to Carl as they napped together, and videos of her wagging like crazy as they strolled down the sidewalk. She waited patiently every morning by the door when Carl went off to school, and when he returned, she was the first one to greet him, barking happily, tail flying, following him back inside like she'd never let him go. Camila had found her purpose again, and in helping Carl heal, she had healed too. As Marina finished reading, her eyes filled with tears again, this time from pure, overwhelming happiness. From the moment she saw that soaked, shivering dog clinging to her blanket to this beautiful chapter with Carl, she felt honored to be a part of it all. Camila's journey reminded her of just how powerful love, patience, and a second chance can be. Have you ever found a best friend in a pet? We'd love to hear your story. Share it in the comments below. And if this touched your heart, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more stories like Camila's.